Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, Mexico may have dodged the worst of Hurricane Patricia, but it's still causing a headache for millions south of the border as well as East Texas.
Round-the-clock coverage out of East El Paso. One person is in the hospital clinging to life after a motorcycle crash.
And the ongoing construction of San Jacinto Plaza, why it won't be ready for the holidays, and what the city manager has to say about the finish date now being pushed further and further back.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
A very good morning to you, El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good Monday morning, everyone. Hard to get out of bed sometimes on a Monday, but a forecast like the one Crystal has for us today makes it easier.
Yes, it's looking really nice, Crystal.
Oh yeah, if you love the weekend weather, which I would be surprised if you didn't, then you're going to enjoy today as well, because we are still talking 70s, still talking very nice with mostly sunshine later today. This morning, we're at 57 in El Paso and 49 in Las Cruces. That 57 in El Paso is actually a little bit warmer than we were expecting numbers to be this morning, so that's a nice little treat for us. We're at 46 in Alamogordo and also 46 that temperature in Silver City. So outside this morning, some 40s in southern New Mexico, 50s over parts of West Texas. On our clouds and radar map, part of the reason we may be seeing temperatures a little bit warmer in some areas than they have been in mornings is we do have clouds rolling by. Mostly they are thinner clouds up the upper level, and they're going to move on by through this afternoon. Still plenty of sun in today's forecast. We do still expect 70s as well, but 70s do not hold on to the entire 7-day forecast. In fact, we have a bit of a cool down in store in the long term. We'll take a look at that in a bit.
All right, thank you, Crystal. The leftovers from Hurricane Patricia are causing a huge mess in East Texas. Patricia is the most powerful storm ever recorded in the Western Hemisphere. Some parts of the state are measuring water in feet, not inches. Houston and Galveston have suffered severe flooding. Police and firefighters responded to almost 30 rescues in 24 hours related to the weather. Meanwhile, in Mexico, the cleanup continues. Mexican towns like Mascota, located in the Mexican state of Jalisco, is one of the areas that was hit the hardest by Hurricane Patricia. Officials say the homes of about 3,000 people were damaged, leaving many homeless. However, they also say it could have been much worse, and the country was fortunate that the storm turned toward a mountainous area.
To round-the-clock coverage now from the east side. A motorcyclist is in the hospital after a serious crash last night. It happened around 10:15 near the Americas interchange on Gateway East. This is video from our round-the-clock crew. We're told the motorcyclist does have life-threatening injuries. No word on what caused the crash. And there was a widespread power outage in West El Paso overnight, affecting residents from Montecillo down to Kern, as well as areas of Sunland Park. It happened just before 2 a.m. No word yet on what caused it. El Paso Electric says about 3,500 customers were affected. Power was restored around 4 a.m.
El Paso City Manager Tommy Gonzalez was in the hot seat last night on ABC 7 Extra. He talked about the latest on the downtown arena that is moving full speed ahead, to the delays on the construction of San Jacinto Plaza. If you missed Extra last night, Good Morning El Paso's Denise Olivas is standing by live with a recap. Hi, Denise.
Good morning, Stephanie. As we reported last week, the city confirmed that San Jacinto Plaza will not be ready in time for the celebration of lights and the tree lighting this Christmas. This is the third year that the El Paso tradition takes place in another location. We'll drive through downtown El Paso and you'll see the slow progress at San Jacinto Plaza. Many residents, including city officials, were looking forward to this year's celebration, or this year's event, because the plaza is celebrating its 100th anniversary. City Manager Tommy Gonzalez says the city's engineering department, which as of late has been under the microscope, may have rushed when giving a concrete deadline to city officials and to the public.
A lot of times they're asked, when is something going to be done on time, and they rush to give an answer without looking at the actual deadline of when that project is supposed to be finished. So as of May of 2015, we are charging liquidated damages to the contractor.
And coming up in our next half hour, we will be talking about another downtown project, the downtown arena. Gonzalez talks about why the city is pushing to get that project completed by next year. For now, we're live in downtown El Paso. Denise Olivas, ABC 7.
All right, Denise, thank you. Police are investigating a shooting that happened in East El Paso over the weekend. It was on Sunday on the 11,700 block of Queens Garden by Pebble Hills. Police say a man suffered from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. He was taken to Del Sol Medical Center and is in serious condition. We're told investigators are trying to determine if it was accidental.
Well, from New Mexico, a bizarre murder case north of Las Cruces. Police say a man beat his friend to death with an electric guitar because he was changing into a zombie. It happened Thursday in Grants, New Mexico. Police say 23-year-old Damon Perry beat 23-year-old Christopher Paquin after the two had been drinking. Perry told police his friend began to change into a zombie and tried to bite him. Investigators say Perry used an electric guitar and a microwave to kill his friend. The Obama administration says kids spend too much time taking unnecessary exams in school. Saturday, President Obama said in a message on Facebook he wants to fix that. The administration announced new guidelines concerning standardized tests and what they call a testing action plan. It outlines new principles for measuring student aptitude. They are recommendations for school districts to follow but are not binding regulations, and they don't replace those that are part of No Child Left Behind. The White House said additional details will be released in January.
Violence in Israel continues to escalate. Over at Temple Mount Sinai in El Paso, some El Pasoans gathered to talk about their recent trip to Israel. 14 members of the El Paso Jewish community spent 10 days in the Middle East earlier this month. Roberta Fennick says despite a wave of violence that broke out in September,
just being a person there, an average person, you do not experience it and see it other than what you hear on the news.
Rabbi Stefan Leon says the trip was a way for El Pasoans to show the people of Israel their support. Despite the unrest, those 14 community members say this month's trip was unforgettable. Those who took the trip also got to learn about advancements in Israeli medicine, agriculture, and technology.
Vice President Joe Biden gives his first TV interview since announcing that he will not run for president. He spoke to CBS's 60 Minutes about the reports ahead of his announcement and how his son's death affected that decision. Andrew Spencer has more.
Vice President of the United States, it seems, will be the last elected office Joe Biden will ever hold.
Will you ever run for political office again?
No.
In an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes, Biden talked about the impact his son's death had on his decision to run. Reports that Beau Biden offered some sort of encouragement from his deathbed, the vice president says, are a bit overdone.
There was not what is sort of made out as kind of this Hollywood-esque thing that at the last minute, Beau grabbed my hand and said, "Dad, you've got to run, like win one for the Gipper." It wasn't anything like that.
He says Beau always thought he should run and always thought he could win. Last week, Biden put an end to months of speculation that he would mount a presidential campaign.
Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, the time necessary to mount a winning campaign for the nomination.
In the end, he says it just took him too long to decide, and the window eventually closed.
Dealing with the loss of Beau, any parent listening who's lost a child knows that you can't, it doesn't follow schedules of primaries and caucuses and contributors and the like.
Instead, Biden still wants to influence the Democratic Party to make sure it doesn't walk away, he says, from what he and President Barack Obama have done. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
It is 6:09, and let's take a look at our traffic. Through our TxDOT traffic cameras, I-10 Wrestler now executive on the west side. Things moving along pretty smoothly.
And keep it here for more to come on Good Morning El Paso today.
More on the wrath of Hurricane Patricia. The storm may have weakened while passing over Mexico, but it is still having a huge impact on residents across Texas.
Also, how one company is taking on the man dubbed America's most hated CEO.
But first, our Storm Track weather forecast with most loved meteorologist here in the morning,
right,
Crystal Clyde.
Aw, thanks, guys. All right, we're going to talk about a forecast that looks pretty good. That is for a few more days. How about your Halloween forecast, though? We'll have that coming up.
Thanks so much, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.